Good day to everyone. My name is Lenzie M. Farrol, uh, a reporter for the Roots of Behaviorism, Chapter 2, Topic 6. I am here to proceed to the next topic with my preceding co-reporter, Arian Fajardo, and the topic outline for my report for today is the contributions of Edward Thorndike and B. V.F. Skinner on behaviorism. The second topic will be the operant conditioning with its subtopics of reinforcement and punishment. Intended learning outcomes will be the students are able to understand the assumptions about behaviorism according to B.F. Skinner and E. Thorndike, to learn what are the main ideas behind and how does apparent conditioning works, and to be able to idealize the idea before between the different functions of operant conditioning. For the first persona to have a roots with for the first discussion, the roots of behaviorism, we have the person known as Edward Thorndike, who was dubbed as the father of educational psychology. Now, he believed that the association between stimulus and response was solidified by a reward confirmation system. He also thought that the motivation was an important factor in learning. He reached his main ideas and conclusions through data gathered based on experiments conducted through animal experimentations. Uh, Such experiments included placing hungry cats in an enclosed container, which Thorndike referred to as a puzzle box. Now, this puzzle box, hungry cats were individually placed into a box that could be opened by the animal via a device such as a latch. Once outside of the box, the cats gain access to food for a positive reinforcer. Thorndike found that the cats took less and less time to get out of the box the more the trials of training had been given. The cats remembered which behavior was necessary to escape and get the reward of food. If they have not, if they had not, it would take approximately the same time for them to figure it out, and there would not be the trend of continually faster escape. Secondly, they were clearly able to recognize their current situation their current situation being the place in a puzzle box was identical to the last time they were placed inside of a puzzle box. And therefore, the same successful behavior used before would achieve the same end result the next time around, and this result was freedom and a feast. As I said earlier, we have hungry cats were individually placed into the box that could be opened by animal via device such as a latch. Once outside the box, cats gained access to food, a positive reinforcer. Thorndike found that the cats took less and less time to get out of the box, and the more the trials of trainings have been given. Based on the experiments he devised, that experiment, he devised the two laws of concerning behavior. The first was the law of exercise, stating that simply that the repetition of response strengthens it. Each time a cat was placed in the battle box, it exhibited a stronger inclination to perform the behaviors required, Exit, exiting the box with increased proficiency and shorter time of span. So the law of exercise states that simple the repetitions of a response to the stimuli strengthened it. meaning every time that the cat repeats the process of opening the box in order to get the food, the cat is inclined towards the to the lay the, to opening the box to get his reward. Now, the second law would be the law of effect. It is established that behaviors were either strengthened or weakened, depending on whether they were rewarded or punished. Each time the successful behavior was repeated, it was done more quickly because the cat no longer wasted time performing other behaviors that had proven unsuccessful and kept the animal in prison. So the law of effect now, the, the law of effect behaviors varies in the response to being punished or being rewarded to either strengthen or weaken it. So the law of effects talks about how being punished or being rewarded strengthen the response to the stimuli or the test given to the cats. Where's Frederick Skinner? An American psychologist that is best known for his works on behaviorism. He is also known as the father of operant conditioning. According to Skinner, behaviors will or can be learned quickly if it is paired with punishment and rewards. Skinner developed the behaviors theory of operant conditioning. Contrary to the theories of both Watson and Pavlov, Skinner believed that it wasn't what comes before a behavior that influences it, but rather what it comes directly after it. So Skinner believed that any any behavior is a response to what comes as a consequence to the response to a stimuli. Skinner also used animal testing, but his experiments involved rats and pigeons. Skinner showed how positive reinforcement worked by placing hungry rats in a Skinner box. The box contained a lever on the side, and as the rat moved on the box, it would accidentally knock the lever. Immediately, it did so, a food pellet would drop into a container next to the lever, also known as an operant conditioning chamber. It is a device used to objectively record an animal's behavior in a compressed time frame. Operant conditioning. It is a type of learning in which the likelihood that a behavior will be repeated depends on the consequences associated with the behavior. For Thorndike, of the for Thorndike, he observed that that behaviors that are followed by a reward are strengthened, whereas behaviors that are followed by punishment are weakened. This simply but important observation, which Thorndike labeled as the law of effect, led to the development of the principles of apparent conditioning. On on the other hand, with Skinner, he showed that operant conditioning can be explained in a great deal of behavior, including abnormal behavior, and operant conditioning can be used to treat abnormal behaviors. Now let's proceed to the next topic, which is reinforcement. So what is reinforcement? Reinforcement is the process which the consequence of a behavior is increases as the likelihood of the behavior's reoccurrence. Reinf- Now, an object or event that makes a behavior more likely to appear in the future is called a reinforcer. In operant conditioning, uh, behaviors are manipulated when either positive or negative reinforcement follows them. Reinforcement is increases the desired behaviors by allowing a subject to escape punishment through their performance. while ang positive reinforcement increases desired behaviors by following them with rewards. So negative reinforcement are reinforcements that uh, will make the testee or the experimented rat in this case touch the lever, for with by force, and uh, so that the experimenter could get the behavior that he or she wants to achieve. While on positive while in while in positive reinforcement, uh, the the rat in this experiment is rewarded with a pellet every time he it touches the lever. Now let us proceed. Reinforcement schedules. Now the reinforcement schedules are referring to the schedules that that the behavior are seen after a response. So the consistent response is called continuous reinforcement, where behaviors can be learned and maintained. While partial reinforcement schedule occurs when the reward or punishment occurs only sometimes in response to the behavior. Extinction. Now, extinction is the process of eliminating a learned behavior. It is more difficult to eliminate when the behavior was learned through partial reinforcement schedule than when the behavior was learned through a continuous reinforcement schedule. Now let us proceed to my last topic, which is punishment. The punishment is the process by which an event or object that is the consequence of a behavior decreases the likelihood that the behavior will occur again. There are two types of punishments. Uh, it is the positive punishment that only takes place when a behavior is followed by an undesirable consequence, which makes the behavior less to occur. When and negative punishment, on the other hand, only occurs when a behavior is followed by a removal of a pleasant or desired events or circumstances, which decreases the probability of the behavior's reoccurrence. So, positive punishment is when an undesirable consequence or a punishment makes a behavior less likely to reoccur, meaning the 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 experiment is an success because of the undesirable consequence or result is is less likely to reoccur because of the punishment that is given to the experimentee. While the negative punishment is the counterpart of the positive punishment, where the removal of pleasant desired events or circumstances, or the removal of the reward decreases the probability of the behavior's reoccurrence. So it would mean that the behavior could not be seen again as the reward or the desired consequence is removed from the situation. And that would be all. Thank you. Again, my name is Lenzie M. Farrol, a reporter for Roots of Behaviorism. And this is the end of my report. Thank you and God bless.